Oh boy, this one. I was originally just gonna knock this one out as part of the eventual catch-ups when we get to them. Hey, it's on that list. It's been on that list for months now. But when I got around to hearing it, and especially when I got around to hearing other people's opinions of it, I figured it's probably better to just peel the Band-Aid off now, even though I'm not even sure what my opinion can even contribute to this situation. This album, it's one of those albums, the highly polarizing kind. People appear to have already drawn the battle lines on this one, and sides have been firmly taken. This is either Album of the Year material, or the album that finally convinced you God is dead. Apparently, and most of you are probably only watching this review so that those of you on one side can claim a weird, creepy ownership over me, and those of you on the other can start sending me anthrax. I honestly don't even know what my opinion can even contribute to this album's discussion. It's already gotten way out of hand. So, I guess this is the part where I throw up my hands and declare which side I'm on for this thing. Well, prepare to hate me, I guess, because guess what? In this general election, I'm voting third party. Yeah, I'm totally that guy, the well, both sides are wrong asshole on this case. But for this album, I cannot help but feel that way. I look forward to sifting through all your angry comments and letter bombs, but guys, look, you're both right and you're both wrong about this album. To the lovers, yeah, you've got some good points here. Lyrically, this has to be one of the more challenging and interesting Arctic Monkeys albums I've ever sat down with. Truth be told, I'm just generally not into this band. Usually, I dug on some of their earlier work back when they were sort of an indie, post-punk, garage rock revival sort of thing. You know, back when they were a bit like Block Party, if they'd been trying to emulate the Strokes and were being filtered through one of the Gallagher brothers. That Arctic Monkeys, I kinda dug that Arctic Monkeys. But as the more stoner rocky, more psychedelic vibes started worming their way into their sound, I checked out pretty fast. I just kind of felt like I had already heard the best these guys were capable of. But this album has some much more interesting stuff than what I've heard on past releases. Most Arctic Monkeys themes and concepts, at least the ones I'm more familiar with, don't tend to move much farther past "Oi, love! Oi! Oi! Oi, love! Oi!" I used to liken listening to Arctic Monkeys to watching an episode of that one fictional Simpsons British sitcom.
Do shut up.
Choke on it!
But here there's a solid attempt to touch on some broader topics. Technology, politics, religion, consumerism. There's some interesting metaphors built here to explore these topics, and it's all kind of swung around the loosest general concepts to help tie things together in an interesting and engaging kind of way. And all of it's soaked in sci-fi and pop culture references, so the people who are in the know for those things will totally have fun geeking out over them. I mean, it's still not the deepest thing ever, mind, but hey, what's here is ambitious and interesting. Credit where credit is due. I enjoyed it. It certainly feels like the most well-written album from this band lyrically and thematically. If this album were like a short story or an audiobook or even like an adventure-style point-and-click game, I have a feeling I'd get a decent kick out of it. Unfortunately, it's an album of music, and the music on here is just... Look, like I mentioned earlier, I've fallen out of touch with this band over the years, but guys, help me out here. Was a space pop lounge concerto something the fan base was really clamoring for? Yes, people. Lounge. This album is Robert Goulet as fuck. Hell, it's not even Robert Goulet proper. It's that old version of Robert Goulet Will Ferrell used to do on SNL.
Oh girl, that dress is so scandalous. And you know Another nip.
Like, the music's not all bad, I guess. Songs like Bat Phone and 4 out of 5 put the musical ideas to good use, and there are traces of, like, the spacier elements of early Bowie and some early Nick Cave influences there, as well as some decent nods to guys like Jarvis Cocker and Leonard Cohen here and there. But man, the lounge side, they just lay it all on way too goddamn thick. It's so goddamn loungy. I know they were probably aiming for something closer to Thievery Corporation. It just feels way closer to Richard Cheese. I listened to the first song on this album thinking it was some kind of joke track. Hey, the Arctic Monkeys are known and celebrated for their snideness, but when that track basically kept going across all 11 songs, I realized this was not a joke. Ooh, look, people, to me, it's just way too much. I get they were going for a concept. I get that it's a theme and a motif, but it's too much. The album needed at least a handful, or at least 1 or 2 tracks that deviated from the loungy formula to help mix it up a little bit and break us out of the monotony. But as it stands, it just makes for a lyrically ambitious and thematically interesting chore of a thing to actually listen to. I respect the Arc Monk's ambition on this album. I respect it a lot here, and were those lyrics, concepts, and themes put to use in better music, I'd probably be way more receptive to this album. But since the music, you know, the actual reason you buy an album, is just so I will probably never, ever listen to this album again after my last spin. I get exactly why this album is dividing people so harshly, but man, look, it just does both too much right and too much wrong for me to take any kind of hard stance on it. So,
Goulet.
Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino gets 3 cherry Pop-Tarts backstage. Out of 5.